Don't try not to tune me out, because this is going to apply to you too. Okay, so this is sometimes like last year we got to the end and I asked that question. It was like 80% of people in here had solved, and I don't think they knew to got to pay attention. So just make sure you understand that. There will be things I bring up that are specific for you too, that are going to make a lot of sense for your pool. All right. So the thing we'll start with at the beginning is that I guess we touch on salt first. Salt is making chlorine, so some of you are going to be new pool owners and you may not understand how the system completely works, but it's taking a chemical compound which has sodium and chlorine in it, and it's taking and dividing out two elements by a process called electrolysis. It's putting chlorine in your pool with automated rate, so it's still going to be the same water chemistry as a chlorine. Okay, so we'll start there. Every pool that you deal with has to use some kind of EPA registered sanitizer, whether it's bromine or chlorine or polychloride. It has to use an EPA registered sanitizer to keep it clear, bacteria free of algae, and safe to swim in. So I'm going to touch on the different types of chlorine and alcohol sanitizers. So the first one that we'll touch on, we're going to go over. This is shock. So shock is it's calcium hypochlorite, and it is it's a strong chlorine at 68% chlorine, so it has 68% available chlorine in it. So when you put this in your pool, it's very effective. It's very strong. Most of what's in there is chlorine. We got a lot of added chemicals. This is not a chemical you can broadcast directly into your pool. Okay? It will not dissolve quickly. It will just sit there on the bottom of the pool. And if you have a liner pool, that's really not good. So make sure if you're using shock, this product has to be mixed in a bucket or it has to go into your skimmer. If it's put into your skimmer, make sure you don't have tablets in your skimmer. Okay, this is not mixed with tablets. Okay, so let's flow. So make sure you understand that shock and tablets do not come in contact with each other in small bodies of water. Can you say it's not a good combination. Okay, so calcium hypochlorite in particular, there are chlorines that do mix with tablets fine. They're not harmful. So this is not a stabilized chlorine. It doesn't add a level of stabilizer to your water. So tablets do have stabilizer in it. The shock does not. So it's not stabilizer will touch the chlorine from the sun. So if you have a good level of stabilizer in water, more than 30 parts per million, then the water basically is actually a sunscreen for your chlorine. So on a really hot sunny day, if you have over 30 parts per million stabilizer in the water, then this chlorine won't burn off as quickly, and you're more likely to have a clear sanitary pool. Whereas if you have too low of a level of sanitizer, then what will happen is that this chlorine will burn off very quickly, and your pool will turn cloudy, green, and then you have a very difficult process to get that back days and days and days of basically pouring money into the pool. And work just to try to get the pool turned around. So if you can avoid the pool going cloudy or going green, it's significantly less for you, for your costs, and for your work that you need to take care of. So that's the first time it's calcium hypochlorite in the shop. It's very common to use. It's, for the most part, it's inexpensive in comparison to other types of chlorine. Okay. Next on our list is sodium dichloride, and when you come to swim things, this is one of the staff's favorite chemicals, and it's especially good for salt pools. One of the reasons it's good for salt pools is because shock is including calcium hypochlorite, which means high calcium. Okay. And salt pools tend to be higher in pH, so they tend to scale a little bit more, they can leak calcium and things like that. So you wouldn't really combine shock with salt pool because it would be more likely to build up calcium. But dichlor is a very pure chlorine. Okay? It's 99% sodium dichlor. It is 56% available chlorine. So it's not quite as potent as shock is. It's very, very pure. It's very good dissolving. I'll say that on one hand. But right now, most pools are very cool, okay, temperature-wise. Most pools right now, unless you're getting it, it's under 60 degrees, unless you get the full sun. So be cautious if you're throwing dichlor directly in your pool, you have a line. Okay? It's the same thing as this, although it's just it's a chemical that is supposed to dissolve in 5 feet of water. You need to be aware that even though it may dissolve before it hits the bottom of the pool, you could have an intense cloud of local chlorine that's right there, even though it's dissolved. You need to make sure that you have your pool running, whether you're in a pool that's not on, and then if there's something that's sitting in there, pair with a brush. And this is completely fine to put in through your skimmer too, but it is okay to broadcast this chemical. You just have to be aware of the possible dangers with it. And it is completely compatible with tablets, so you can throw this down right on top of tablets, and it would have no chemical reaction that's negative. And it is stabilized, so it does add a level of stabilizer to your pool, which is very important for a salt pool. Because salt pools don't have any way of getting stabilizer in the water unless you manually add it, which means you're either going to put stabilizer into your skimmer in a salt pool, or you're going to put in dichlor at the beginning and the end of the season before the water reaches 65 degrees. The salt system won't produce any chlorine below 65 degrees. Okay? So there's a number of factors, but one of them is temperature. And so if it's below 65 degrees, your salt pool doesn't produce any chlorine. You don't use tablets in salt pool, except for maybe at the beginning of the year, maybe at the end of the year, when the water kind of comes out of steam. So the only way you can get stabilizer in the water in a salt pool is through dichlor, a stabilizer, and maybe if you use tablets temporarily before your salt system gets going. You have to be aware. Stabilizer is very important. That's why this is very important for a salt pool if you use dichlor instead of other options. Okay. It's also it's not just for salt. It's just it's for any pool. It's the one we recommend most here because you can throw like a pool. It's not going to cause cloudy water. Okay. If you throw a shock in your pool, it's going to create a cloud. It's going to cloud up the water. It's safe. It wouldn't harm your surface. So it's different than like a liner could harm the surface. If you got a pool, you don't really have to worry about harming the surface. It's safe. So, any questions so far? Okay. Next on the list is liquid shock. This is used a lot in winterization. It's a liquid form, it's a burning solution. You don't have some of the other dangers of it's not granules, so it's not going to sit on your liner and harm it. The thing I'll say about this is this is only 12.5% available for. So when you're looking at this and you're comparing it with the others, you're kind of like, well, why would I use it? If I can have 68% available for and I have 56% available for here, like, oh, there are different reasons you use it. But typically, you have to use a whole gallon of this. Gallons about 8 pounds. You have to use a whole gallon of this to compare to about 1 pound of shock per diet. Okay. As far as the amount that we would dose per 10,000 gallons. So if we said use 1 pound per 10,000 gallons on shock on a clear pool, or 1 pound per 10,000 gallons on dichlor, we'd say use a whole gallon of liquid shock on the same pool. So liquid shock's not stabilized. But it is in liquid form. It is convenient if the pool's been winterized or going out to do winter service. We may choose to use liquid shock because if we're dealing with 40-degree water or something, the granule is not going to dissolve. Okay. Next, we have lithium hydrochloride. I don't show it because we don't sell it. It's 35% available chlorine. It's very expensive. I don't know that it makes sense for a lot of customers. And then lastly, we have tablets. I touched on those a little bit. Tablets. If you have a chlorine pool and you're newer to a chlorine pool, you need to use tablets along with like granular chlorine. You need both. Okay? If you didn't use tablets, let's say you use dichlor. You didn't use tablets and you don't have any other way to put chlorine in the pool. You put your dichlor in, it's gone the next day. It doesn't matter if you have stabilizer in there or not. It's going to be gone the next day. If you have tablets in there, tablets are going to help the level of chlorine go down slowly. They're going to help it reduce slowly over maybe a week's period of time, maybe 5 days period of time. So it's going to make the chlorine last longer. But typically, tablets alone do not raise the level of chlorine. Okay? They're slowly dissolved to a point where they're going to help chlorine reduce slower. And they are going to add chlorine to the pool, but they're typically not going to raise your number. So you're not going to have zero chlorine in a cloudy pool. You're going to add a few tablets. It's not going to cure that problem. If we had a cloudy pool, we'd always add granular chlorine. Tablets again have stabilizer in them. They can't go in your skimmer, but if they go in your skimmer, you need to run your pump all the time. Tablets have extremely low pH, 3.0 pH. So low pH is very harmful to a liner. So let's say you don't run your pump, and these tablets are just sitting in the skimmer. You have a very high level of chlorine that's just sitting in the skimmer. You have a cloud of chlorine, and then you have a very low pH. It's a very dangerous combination because low pH makes things very acidic, it makes things very brittle. So your liner right around the liner, the screws, and everything that's right around that skimmer housing, you start to have a lot of problems. There's a gasket there. It would start leaking just because you didn't know that you weren't supposed to have tablets in there when the pump wasn't running. So just make sure you're aware of that. Are there any questions on the chlorine portion? No? Yeah. A tablet, like a tablet feeder on that coordinator? No, that's not true. A tablet feeder, if your pump goes off, that drains. So it's going to self-drain. So it doesn't. It's not like those tablets are going to be sitting there in water. That's when you turn off your pool with a chlorinator, it's going to self-drain. But if you chose to put those in the skimmer, you need to run the pump all the time. Sorry, thanks for the question. So the next thing I'm going to go over is pH, and I think it's one of it can be one of the neglected parts of water chemistry because a lot of times people they'll get usually a good chlorine level in their pool, or they'll have a very dry pool and they'll just neglect testing the water because my pool is great, it must be good. It's not always true. In fact, so there's some properties of pH that are important to understand, especially if you're a pool owner. pH, when it's low, it's very harmful. We talked about it. Very harmful for equipment. It's very harmful to a pump seal, a liner, the surface of a guide pool, plaster. It can be harmful for screws. It's corrosive. So it can harm a lot of things in the exit water. Cause your heater to leak faster than you heat right where it needs to. That's an expensive mistake. So, but one of the things about pH being low that is very important to understand is the water tends to be clear on a low pH pool. And so that's very deceiving for somebody when they look at their pool and they see it's crystal clear. It can be an acid bath, it can be crystal clear. And that's very dangerous to so it would also irritate your skin, it would burn your eyes, and you have other signs. But you really need to be, even on a salt pool, you need to be testing the water. Salt tends to run higher on the pH, causes other issues, but you need to be testing your water. And sometimes when you have things like a salt system or other things that make maintenance a little bit easier, or the water just looks good, it's easy to neglect paying attention to the pool. So just make sure that you're really paying attention to where the pH level is. If it's low, it's dangerous. If it's high, it creates other problems. If the pH is high, it can actually scale. You can get calcium scale. It can cause buildup on the pump. It can cause, which is something we see on some salt pools because they run higher in pH. So they may run 7.8, they run 8.0, they may run 8.2. But if the pH is higher, it can be clear, but it also, many times, one of the properties of high pH is that it causes cloudy water. So if you have extremely high pH, your water will be cloudy. Or if you add too much, let's say you add too much pH plus at once because you're trying to raise your pH, you can have a chemical reaction that can cloud up your whole pool. So understanding the relationship of pH is important. How it can be cloudy if it's high base and scale. If it's an acid, it will look clear and see you. Very important to understand. But also how it relates to chlorine is very important. So if you have a low pH and it's very acidic, your chlorine is not effective. If you throw in your dichlorine, it dissolves very, very, very quickly because you're throwing it right into acid. You're throwing it into an acidic environment. And so if you have a cloudy pool and it's acidic, which doesn't always happen, but with low sanitary, let's say chlorine is low, that also causes cloudy water. Let's say you had an acidic environment trying to get the pool back in shape. Then you throw your dichlorine and the water's so acidic that it's gone in a few hours. And the only way really to retrieve a pool from to recover a pool from being cloudy to clear is to maintain chlorine, 3 parts per billion or higher, for possibly a number of days. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Questions so far? Okay. Next thing I want to go over is alkalinity. So alkalinity is raised with baking soda. Okay, we sell baking soda here. It's $8 a bag for 10 pounds. So we try to get as close as we could to like a big box store. That's a regular baking soda. So we do sell that 10-pound bags, 25, 50-pound bags. And we lower pH and alkalinity both with the same chemical, either pH minus or a chemical that comes in a gallon like this called muriatic acid. Okay, both of those lower pH and alkalinity both. pH minus can only go in through your skimmer. It's not a quick dissolved chemical, so it has to be put in through your skimmer. Alkalinity, the relationship of alkalinity and pH is important to understand. Alkalinity is a buffer for your pH. So if your alkalinity is very low, then the pH tends to drop. So if your alkalinity is sitting there at 0 and you're trying to balance your pH and get your pH in range, it will end up pulling your pH down and keeping your water in an acidic environment. A lot of customers, a lot of homeowners wonder why I can't get this pH right. One of the first things to check is your alkalinity. If we were adjusting your water chemistry and you needed to make an adjustment on alkalinity, pH, and chlorine, we'd always adjust the alkalinity first, we'd adjust the pH second, and we'd adjust the chlorine third. Because the alkalinity is the buffer for the pH. The pH, I've already told you, affects how well it holds chlorine. It's ineffective if it's high, but it's really ineffective if it's low. And then we would adjust chlorine third because we want the chlorine to go in the right environment. So it's also the most expensive chemical you buy. So if for no other reason than cost, you need to pay attention to your alkalinity and your pH. Make sure they're right before you add chlorine. Then it'll be more effective. Just like pH, alkalinity is low, it's acidic. It's high, it's basic. If it's high, it can cause cloudy water. If you add more than 10 pounds of baking soda at once, you can kind of risk having a chemical reaction clouding up your pool. So if we tell you need to add, if you tested your water here for free, which we offer, if we told you need 20 pounds of baking soda, we always tell you to add around 10 pounds per day. We wouldn't tell you to add 20 pounds at once. Because it would have a chemical reaction. It would just turn your pool white and be frustrating for you. It would recommend. So, and then the third thing that's pretty neglected is calcium hardness increaser, or calcium hardness in general. So calcium hardness around here is it's a chemical, or it's something in the water that's particularly low in our area. It's between 30 and 70 parts per million usually to the tap. And calcium hardness is another buffer for pH. So if you get the alkalinity in range, you're still having trouble. Calcium is something that it is a chemical that can be added to raise the calcium hardness. It can correct some other issues too, like foam. That in particular, again, it sharpens up the look of the water. If your level is between 200 and 400 parts per million of calcium, it does sharpen up the look of the water. Again, in the salt pool, you don't go crazy with that because salt's already gonna have a high pH. So sometimes that low calcium level can kind of help balance out the high pH. So if the pH is a little high and your alkalinity or your calcium is a little bit low, you're gonna be balanced. You don't really need to. If one's a little bit high and one's a little bit low, it's okay to leave those where they are. Just because you have 18 low pH and 40 alkalinity doesn't necessarily mean that there needs to be an adjustment. Because there's something called saturation index, which is the last thing on there. And it's kind of a combination of your pH, your alkalinity, your calcium hardness, and the way those work together in a basic or acidic environment. And whether your pool will be scaling from the number of those being high, or if some are high and some are low, and they kind of equal out how high and how low they are, then your pool is basically neutral. And it's an okay environment for chlorine to survive in, or not dissipate So we're careful here not to over-adjust. If you're 7.8 on the pH and you're 60 on your outlet, that's okay, or vice versa. It's okay to have one a little high and one a little low. It's still be a neutral environment. That all makes sense? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of troubleshoot some water problems. We're not going to get into a little further into salt systems. So you can have some problems with pools. Number one is green water. An algae bloom, typically from the lack of sanitizer. So you lost your level of chlorine somehow, whether you ran out of tablets, you forgot to put granular chlorine in, you hadn't tested it in 2 days, salt left turned red on your chlorator, and hadn't increased chlorine for a couple days, and you just forgot to check it. And all of a sudden you walk out and you have a green pool. What do you do? The first thing you always do is you always test it. You never just shot. Never just shot. Okay? You always test because you don't always know what you're dealing with. When you're dealing with water chemistry and water clarity, you're dealing with two main things. You're dealing with the filtration of the water, and you're dealing with the water chemistry. Okay? So you're dealing with balanced water chemistry, and you're dealing with ideal filtration. So the more you run your pool pump, and the better filtration you'll have, because it's going to run for longer, it's going to filter more. So if you have algae, and how do you get rid of that? You test, likely you have low sanitizer. Okay? That's likely. Okay? If you need to adjust anything else, again, we go in the order alkaline, pH, then chlorine. But what we try to do is, for the size of your pool, for a green pool, we would put in 2 pounds per 10,000 gallons of granular chlorine. So we'd say, let's say you have 40,000 gallons, we put 8 pounds of dichlorine. Yes. Right? You got 20,000 gallons, you put 4 pounds of dichlorine. Okay? The idea is we want to consistently hold 3 parts per million or more of chlorine consistently. Right? So when that happens, the green pool takes a long time to get back. It takes days. Okay? It doesn't just happen overnight. So we look for is green to aqua to cloudy. Okay? So same thing with the cloudy pools. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to test. You're going to add the same dosage of chlorine. You may have to do it more than once. You test daily. You may test 40 times. The biggest thing with the cloudy pool, with the green pool, you actually have to you need an algaecide. Chlorine by itself doesn't change the color. Okay? You need an algaecide with your chlorine. Okay? You have options. We have Skillet. We have AlgaPure 60. We have AquaPure. Different chemicals do different things, so make sure you're educated on which ones do what. This is our best algaecide Skillet. It's the commercial strength algaecide. It doesn't take as much as the algaecide does. The dosage is 26 ounces per 50,000 gallons. If you have a 20,000 gallon pool, don't put this whole bottle in. Don't pool like shaving stuff. Okay. So make sure you're aware of the correct dosage is to put in many algaecides. You can put in the whole bottle, and that'll be fine. But on this one, you would. So make sure you on algae, you're putting an algaecide and chlorine. Okay, not just chlorine. On cloudy pools, you're typically just putting in chlorine if it's low on sanitizer, and then you're testing it daily. I like to test morning and night if you're having a pool issue. That way you're on top of it. When your pool is green or cloudy, it has a lot more chlorine in it. It chews through chlorine a lot faster than it would if your pool is clear. That's why we're adding double the amount of normally would. Normally it would be 1 pound per 10,000 gallons on a clear pool, 2 pounds per 10,000 gallons on a pool that's green or cloudy. Okay? Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Sanitizers would be any of the chlorine products. And then the last thing, if you've gone through the process and you're not getting any fruit, what's your next step? There's a product there's called flock. It's a granule chemical. But the nice part about flock, there's a couple things that are nice. If you have sand filter, it's very effective because what you can do with flock is you can turn your sand filter to recirculate position to bypass the filter. You can broadcast 4 pounds of flock per 10,000 gallons. and it will, you run your pump on recirculate for an hour, and you turn your system off, and it will grab everything in that pool, and it will sink it to the bottom of the pool, and you'll get the vacuum space, and you'll have a relatively clear pool in about 24 hours. It's a lot of work, but it is something that if your pool is beyond repair, or sometimes somebody comes to us like on Wednesday or Thursday and they say, well, we have a party, my pool's cloudy, can't see the bottom. So I do, we got a party this afternoon. I'm like, well, Fox, your best friend. So it's the quickest, it's a lot of work, just kind of vacuum that all waste. But it is faster. It is typically less expensive because we're not pouring the at the same time. But it's a process, and it is something that's generally last resort because it's more work. So most people that own a pool don't know where the pool can be, but and this kind of adds to the list. So let's talk a little bit about salt. I know a lot of you kind of want to get to that part. So salt systems are important to understand that when you're looking at your salt system, I'll talk mainly about the Pentair Teleport, which is the salt system we sell. That salt system has a series of lights on the top, and it has a salt light, and it has a light that indicates they have good flow, and it has a light. Sometimes it has a light that indicates temperature, depending on the year that it is. So those lights, if they're all green, then you don't have anything to do. I mean, you can test your water and make sure that everything's good. But if all the lights are green, then that means that cell's operating properly. But if any of the lights are red on your salt system, on the one that we sell, then you have an action to take. If you have, if you have a red flow light, then it means you're not going to get enough flow to the system. So if not enough flow to activate the flow switch inside the cell. So that being said, you backwash your filter in order to get more flow. Okay? If you have a light on there that's red that says salt, well, you're below 2,800 parts per million on salt. So the way salt systems work is it's not confusing, but a lot of people are misinformed on how the salt system works in relation to chlorine. So you don't just add more salt to get more chlorine. Okay? There's a cutoff point on where chlorine's made and where it's not made. Okay? If you have 2799 parts per million, 2,799, you're not going to produce any chlorine on salt system. Okay? If you have 2801, you'll produce chlorine perfectly. Okay? So 2800 is the cutoff point for producing chlorine on a salt pool. Just understand that if you add more salt, if you have 2900 and you're low on salt, then you need to turn up the output percentage of chlorine, the percentage on the cell, not add more salt. Okay? If you're already above the ideal range. However, if your salt's below that point, you need to add chlorine you need to add salt just to produce chlorine at all. Okay? It's not you add more salt to get more chlorine. It's you have the ideal amount of salt or you don't. And then once you have that ideal amount of salt, you adjust the percentage based on the amount of chlorine output that you want to create. Does that make sense? Okay. Salt systems, if you don't have one, there's positive and there's negative with it. So the positives are, and you can talk to people that have salt in here, I think they agree. It's less maintenance than handling. You're not handling the daily chemicals that you would. There are chemicals to recommend. I think Mike touched on salt attack. It cuts down the amount of corrosion that salt produces. Just like if you took your car and you drove it all winter on salty roads and you decided we're never going to wash it. You know, it's very corrosive. It rusts your vehicle, right? So on a saltwater pool, it has the ability to rust stainless steel screws. It has the ability to build up calcium. It has the ability to do a lot of things that are negative. But it also has things that are positive, like a lot less maintenance. From a cost standpoint, I think it evens out. You have a cost of a cell. That cell generally gets replaced about every 5 years. You can have people that replace one of those cells. I mean, they're $700 or $800, and they have costs to them. So make sure you understand that if you want to install a salt system, that's fine. But it's not a cost saver per se. It may feel like it along the way, but it's more of a maintenance saver. make sense? Any questions that you have? We'll go over a couple things as far as like daily stuff that you do to your pool. When you're a newer pool owner, it's a great idea to test it every day. It really is. Salt, chlorine, doesn't really matter. You're testing the same chemicals. You're testing for chlorine, you're testing for pH, you're testing for alkalinity. And when you're testing those things, you may have no idea how much to add. And some of these have a lot of these have a chart on them to tell you kind of how much to add, which one doesn't know what that is. But some of the bigger ones do have that. And we'll test your water for free anytime you want here. So we'll tell you the exact amounts to add to your pool to get them into the correct range. And we have a trained staff. We don't stick a kid behind the counter that doesn't know. Or just start with this side or something like that. The people here that will help you are going to be consistent and professional. We're not going to sell you something you don't need. Okay? We're going to be honest with you and give you correct chemical advice. So at least that's our goal. We would never intentionally do something to cause harm to your pool or make you buy more chemicals. We want you to know that, but also as far as weekly treatments, you need to pay attention. That's why you test, because on average you might put in granular chlorine once a week, but that doesn't mean you put it in every Monday. It's just whenever it tests well. Okay, it's not a I know I do this every Monday. Because then what happens if you have a pool party on Saturday and you had no chlorine for 2 days? Well, then you have a green pool or a cloudy pool, just like we talked about. It's not where you want to be. So that's why you should test it and base it off of your test, not off of the routine. If you do that, then things will be really good for you. I did want to mention one new product for us that I think is really cool. So these pods. These pods are new this year, and they are don't eat them. They're a quick dissolve. They're a quick dissolve chemical. So basically, they don't dissolve very well with cold water. So you can always put any of them in your skimmer. Okay, just put them in your skimmer, and they'll just dissolve. Just stick them right in your bath. When the pool warms up, you can throw the pH product right in your pool. Whatever you put in your skimmer. But these are nice because they're half-pound pods. So if we tell you you need 2 pounds, go 4 of them. Pre-measured. So, like for instance, the pH, it's not very expensive. It's like $12 for the 4-pound bag. But we also have that in calcium. We actually stabilize. Sometimes stabilizes the pain. People worry about the coarse grain, fog in your skimmer. It's a great alternative to sticking in your skimmer basket. And it's a new product for us that we're pretty excited about. So a stabilizer is a product that it's something that doesn't leave your water unless water is taken out and new water is added. So for instance, if you backwash your filter, if you've got a lot of rain, something like that, your stabilizer level is something that it doesn't go away really unless new water is added. So unless it gets diluted, that stabilizer level stays there. It doesn't get used up. They could. Yeah. How many inches do you think you lose? You think you just lose like half an inch a week? Okay. Well, if you in terms of gallons, I'm not sure, but in terms of like if you're evaporating more than about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch a day, maybe we're looking at the possibility of a leak, even if it's a slow leak. Now that being said, you get a lot of evaporation when you get cool nights. You get a lot more because anytime the air temperature goes below where the water temperature is, that water, if you don't see it starts to steam, that water vapor evaporates very quickly. So a lot of times we'll get an August, your pool gets up to like 90 degrees, everybody starts calling in September, my pool's leaking, my pool's leaking. And it might not be leaking, it might just be evaporating. So Keep that in mind. And then one more thing I wanted to mention. I mentioned earlier about water chemistry and filtration working together. One thing that's a very common mistake is people backwash their filter too much. Okay, so if you have a sand filter, backwashing it is necessary sometimes, but not necessary all the time. So I think on our sheet you can say it's part of the weekly treatment, but only if needed. Just like I told you, you can test the water. You need to look at the pressure gauge on your sand filter. If that one doesn't work, you need to get a new one. The pressure gauge is very important because when it goes up 6 to 10 pounds above the normal pressure of your pool, normal pressure of your pool generally starts between 12 and 18 pounds. When it gets up to 6 to 10 pounds above that, that's when you should backwash. And only then. And the reason for that is that the sand gets packed down in the filter when it builds pressure. When the sand gets packed down, it's harder for small debris, cloudy water, things like that to make its way through that sand. So it filters better when it gets packed down and it has high pressure. Yeah. When it has low pressure, meaning you just backwashed it, all that water travels up through the bottom of the sand, all the sand gets loose, right? So you're relieving the pressure in the filter. As soon as you do that, you have a cloudy pool or green pool or something like that. All that stuff that you're trying to catch in your filter, none of it gets caught. It all goes right through the sand. So just make sure, like a lot of people, they think about it the wrong way. They think about, so I do this and backwashing every day, trying to clean up my filters, and my pool's never get clean. Just make sure that you don't backwash your filter too often. Pay attention to the pressure. Yes. Yeah, good question. In backwash, so the correct process is to run on backwash for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay? And then after backwashing, you should always shut off your pump. In between, like when you turn the dial, every turn a multi-port valve dial at the top, you should always turn off your pump. Okay, there's gas in there. You don't turn off your pump, it's going to pop out of the trap. You're going to leak water residence. Okay, always turn off your pump. And then you should always go to rinse for 30 seconds after backwash. Okay, so backwash, turn off your pump. After backwashing, go to rinse, turn the pump back on for 30 seconds, and then that will stop dirty water from getting back into your pool. Okay, and then make sure that you go back and filter. Okay, your filter's where you want to be. Not recirculate, not any others. Make sure you're on filter. Recirculate will bypass the filter. You wonder why your pool's not. So filter's where you want to be. Any questions? Yeah. Salt's like stabilizer. It doesn't get used up just because it separates. It doesn't get used up, but it does. You will likely add salt a few bags a month on average because you're going to have rain. You're going to have other factors. You're going to have to add water. You're going to have evaporation. You're going to have different factors. But salt does not get used up, but you will likely have to add salt at some point during the season. Yes. And multiple times. Not a lot, but multiple times. I think for the next
You said there's stabilizer in each tank.
there are.
Is that enough, or do you need to do stabilizer?
It's enough depending on how long you use it. You know, in a chlorine pool, if your chlorine pool was low on stabilizer, and I know you're using tablets, and I know you're a chlorine pool, I wouldn't recommend adding stabilizer because you're going to have enough with the tablets if you're using them all season. But if you're a salt pool and you just use the tablets for a week or two, that's not enough. But a lot of times there's enough stabilizer left over from last year. That's why it's great for us to test it. You're not going to have stabilizer on home test yet. It's not going to be very accurate. It's very inaccurate test at home because there's a lot of reaction time on the stabilizer test. It just makes it hard to. You need a professional test on stabilizer to know where you actually are. You can test it 2 different times on a home test kit, and you get 2 different results. So get it professionally done on a stabilizer test to know where you actually are. You need to be about 30 though. Yeah, question.
Yeah, what's your recommendation for seasonal circulating water and on manufacturing systems?
We understand that, good question. We understand that not everybody wants to run their pump 24 hours a day. Our recommendation is that you would, because if you come in here and you test the water, it's hard to determine what the actual issue is if you don't have enough filtration time. So Swim Things' recommendation is 24 hours a day to run your pump. As far as automatic vacuum goes, we typically set those on a 4-hour timer. You don't have to run it every day on that 4-hour timer. But if a couple hours a day is usually sufficient, or even a couple hours a couple times a week sometimes is sufficient, but it really depends on where you are, trees, and what the other factors are. But, you can also put the pool cleaner in manually and turn it on when you need it. Some people choose not to put that on the timer. But when we set up a new pool, we put it on 4 hours a day. You're welcome. Any other questions? What is it? It's cyanuric acid. Cyanuric acid. It's just a chemical name for stabilizer. Cyanuric acid. And it's a coarse granule that it's something that it doesn't quick dissolve. It's got to go in through your simmer. But basically, it's the best way for me to explain what it is that it's the sunscreen for your core. So if you have enough of it, you're going to have more effective chlorines. The dichlor has stabilizer in it. If you use dichlor, you use it enough. Use it for a couple of weeks, usually it puts enough stabilizer in it. But it kind of depends on where you started. If you started at 0, you might still have to add 4 pounds or so of stabilizer. But if you start at 20 and you just need to get to 30 and you use dichlor for a week or 2, it's probably pretty good. It gets you above 20. On salt pools, it's not bad to be significantly above 30 because you need to give yourself a little bit of a buffer to go down, right? So on a salt pool, during the year, you're not adding any more. You're not adding dichlor much during the year. If ever. You're adding it opening and closing, you're adding it before the water is 65 degrees, but you don't have a way of stabilizers going in there. So if you just keep it at 30 and you get a little rain, maybe you go down to 20, you can't figure out why you're not holding chlorine because you're not testing stabilizer. So between 30 and 50 is a great number, and more towards 50 for a salt pool is ideal. Any other questions? Yeah.
On a salt pool, until the water gets warm enough, do you recommend, is it dichlor or do we use the tablets or?
A lot of times you want to use a conjunction of both, like a combination, because if you, like on dichlor, if you were to use this only, you'd have to add it every day. It's gonna go away way too quickly without tablets. So I'd recommend you use both, depending on, or if you just don't mind going out to the pool, then you can just use the granular, but you cannot use just tablets. You gotta use either dichlor by itself and just do it daily, or use the two of them, this and the tablets, to supplement. Just so it's less painless for you to use the tablets too. Any other questions? All right. Well, we got some samples up here with some oil. I don't know. You ever was here last time? You may have already got some. It's clear extra for clarifier. It helps aid filtration. We've got some samples there. You may have already got water test bottles in the back. But thanks a lot for coming, and I'll be up here if you have additional questions.